Now, during this winter, we had a little bit of fun. We went to see friends. We did a little bit of skeet shooting, a little bit of hunting, but we also did a lot of work. Now, we covered the boat and wrapped it up, and we pretty much used the top of the boat as storage. And that was quite unnerving. And for those who don't know Canadian winters, this is pretty much what a snowstorm or blizzard looks like. This is me helping out a friend with his plow truck. I'm trying to get to where I need to plow, but visibility was pretty much nil. Now, these were some of the fun times during this winter, and yeah, hope not to do it again next time. So, I was told quite a few times that it's impossible to change the bearings in your roller furler when your mast is on the boat. Well, I beg to differ. We have a hide system, number 10, and as we were coming in last year, the last 2 weeks, the bearings at the bottom of the furler decided to crap out. So I'm going to switch the screen around so you can see a little bit better. And as you can see here, here's the furler, and excuse me, underneath we have the clasp that holds it to the boat. Now, this winter I had to take this apart because actually the bearings inside here decided to break, but not only that, it's the bearings inside here that hold the front halyard. And well, it wasn't a possibility to take the forestay off. So what we did is I took all of this apart and held the mast with, as you can see right here, I have my kite, or the Genoa, the spinnaker, whatever you want to call it, halyard, along with the halyard for the jib. And what I did is both of them, I put them right here on the roller, the old rollers for the anchors. And doing so allowed me to hold the mast forward, and the strength of those two halyards were good. And at the same time, I made sure that the wind was coming in from the back of the boat. And in doing so, what happened is, as I took the roller furler off the deck, the mast wasn't going to fall down because I had two halyards holding it up. Now, not saying it wasn't nerve-wracking, because we had to leave it like that for at least 24 hours. I don't suggest it. Did we do it? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Would I do it at sea? On a calm day. But hey, anything's possible, and I actually had fun doing it. Not too hard, and there's two bearings in there. They were readily available at any bearing shop, so there's quite a few around here. There's 3 within an hour's drive, so I had no issues finding them. This winter, I was also looking up on Amazon and, found a few things. One of the questions or wants from my wife was a remote for the anchor. It'd be nice to be able to have your hands and your feet free. We do have deck switches, and I have a switch in the cockpit for the anchor windlass, but it would be nice to have something hanging on your neck, or hands free. So after a little bit of searching, I found a $25 remote box that can actuate just about anything 12 volts or 120, with the help of relays that are good until 20 amps. So I purchased one. It came with 4 remotes and the actuator box. It came in the mail within a week, and I installed it the following week. Now you'll see there's a picture of it that I'm going to be putting on top of this video. It took me just about half an hour to install it. It works like a charm. The remotes were all already programmed. You didn't have to, mess around with that. It was awesome. Now we have 4 remotes, so everybody can have one. Not the goal, only one person takes care of the anchor at a time, but just saying. And at the same time, it's going to make our lives so much easier. I'll be able to, be hanging off the side of the boat if I'm alone, and I could throw out the anchor or bring it in with the boat being in reverse and so on. When we're setting it, it makes our life so much easier. Now, the same thing in boat stores sell for just shy of $250 at a minimum. This one can do just about anything. Now, for those of you who have bow thrusters, stern thrusters, the roller furler, if you have anything that's actuated on your boat, this little device can give you a remote control to do it. Now, the one I purchased was a 4-channel, so it could do 4 things. So bringing in the anchor is 1 channel, and taking out the anchor is the 2nd channel. And I still have 2 channels that I don't know what to do with. And I think I'm going to keep that remote just specifically for the anchor. But again, if somebody has a bow and stern thruster, 1 remote, 4 buttons, left, right on the front, left, right in the back. It's awesome. So I strongly suggest anybody who has an electric windlass, install one. It's worth it. Now, one of the main upgrades that we did this year was actually adding more solar panels. Now, we have a total of 905 watts on board, which, give or take, gives you about 60 amps of charging power on a sunny day. We still have the 840 amp hour 6-volt battery bank, which works great, by the way. So by adding an extra 200 watts, we added a few gizmos in the boat, electronics, a few more USB plugs, and I just wanted to make sure that there was going to be no questions about us being able to stay away or have crossing or staying at anchor or in remote areas for an extended period of time without ever needed to be plugged in. Again, I have 125 amp alternator on the engine with a controller for 2 banks, 3-stage charging. That's the backup. We don't like starting the engine at all. So these solar panels were key. Now I'm going to turn it around and pretty much show you what I did. So unlike a lot of other people, what we did is we added on top of our Dodger, because that was pretty much the only real estate that we had left. Now, I'm showing you this because what we did is we used stainless steel tubing on top of our handles on each side of the Dodger, and we bolted them in, drilling holes through them. Now, these are 100-watt panels each, and what they do is they actually connect in series on top here, so they give you 39 volts of charging. Now, coming inside, the wires coming in the Dodger follow this line and go on the inside of the doghouse. Right now, the system is working on my backup MPPT charge controller, and they're showing on a decent day, they're showing about 4.2 amps at 39 volts of charging power, which ends up being somewhere in the vicinity of give or take 10 amps at 14.4, which again, I already had about 50. Adding this 10 amps allows me to, hey, the bird decided to come and join us. Here, I'll show him to you. Hey. So, yeah, that's our mascot. She's quite enjoying the boat. She's free to roam, and she enjoys it. Yeah, so I was saying about the solar panels. That was an extra 10 amps that allows us to add a couple more things on the boat. I added this year a 19-inch screen TV for my son's Xbox in the aft berth. I added a bunch of USB plugs, and by the way, these solar panels were $150 on Wish, and that was $150 Canadian. That's insane. That's delivered. They had all the wiring. They came with a PWN controller, which I pretty much gave away, and I gave both of them away. Useless, totally useless. Half the power compared to an MPPT controller, but they were free. Yeah, so our batteries are topped. Right now we're plugged into shore power, and I've yet to ever hear our inverter charger kick on to charge the batteries. Not even at night. The batteries stay above 12.7. Every once in a while it gives out a few amps, but that's about it. Never during the day, even on a cloudy day. So I think we're doing a really good job at producing our own power. Yeah. So the other things that we did that I won't show you because there's not really a good point, but this winter I was fed up of those Jabsco pump or those clean flow that come from ProFlow or whatever, that come from Amazon and Wish and your local boat store or RV store. I've actually went on the net and looked up every site that rates pumps and rates this and rates that, and people, what they've done, DIYs and professionals like me, and like how they came to solutions for their customers and how people came to solutions for their needs. I got fed up and I bought the best pump on the market. The best pump on the market is not one that pumps high GPMs and high pressure. I find that low GPM and high pressure is a lot better. And to explain, if you're on a boat, you have a limited amount of water that you want to use every time you turn on your tap. So if you have a high GPM pump, gallons per minute, now the faster you get rid of your gallons, because when you open the tap, the less you have, or the less time you have to use it, especially if you're washing dishes or just washing the deck and so on. So I bought a 3 GPM 55 PSI pump. This pump was rated number 1 on 8 different websites. It was on the expensive side, but quiet, super quiet. If anybody wants the description, I bought it on Amazon. It cost me $150, which everybody's going to say, hey, that's actually pretty cheap. Well, compared to a Jabsco pump, which a 2.9 or 2.8 GPM at 45 PSI for $60, it was quite expensive. But on the other hand, we've yet to have an issue with it. It's been on the boat for 7 months. It's excellent. It's quiet. It uses next to no power, and really supplies all of our water needs. Now, along with that, and even if it says in the manual with the pump, you do not have to install a bladder. We did. Now, it's not a variable GPM pump or anything like that. Those are way out of price, and I had no intentions of trying to do that. So what we did is we added, instead of adding, again, those half a liter or 3/4 of a liter bladders, inline bladders for your water system, what I did is I installed a 4-gallon bladder, pressurized bladder, and you have to set those at about 2 or 3 pounds below the kick on the pump. So I always have 16 liters pressurized, ready to get used on the boat. The pump comes on only after about a minute of having your taps on. It's excellent. The tank's not that big. And the tank only cost me $100, again, on Amazon. It's mainly done for small RVs or summer camps and so on and so forth. I had tons of room beside the motor. That's where it went. I teed it off on the cold side before going into the hot water tank. So now, no matter what, I have 35 psi's of pressure with 16 liters or 15 liters, which is more than we need. You turn on any tap, take a shower, it doesn't matter. You don't know that you're in a boat. You have the same amount of pressure and the same amount of water, continuous water, as you were at any apartment or any city in this world, or civilized city in this world, I should say. So that was one of the big winners. We did a couple of more add-ons. We added a pump to our shower bilge because I was fed up of it going right down into the bilge. So we added a pump for that. And we did a couple of more, like add-ons and changes. Really, the big thing was our bedroom. We took off all the shelves on both walls. We just made a shelf at the foot of the bed, which is a lot more convenient. We repainted the bedroom. Did a couple of shelves, which I will show you a couple of the shelf that we built in the kitchen in the next episode. Also, we were thinking about making separators in the icebox or the fridge. Now, if any of you actually have pictures of how you separated your icebox or your fridge and what material you used, I would love to have your comments below. That would be something that would help us greatly, because right now, like the thing's probably like 9 cubic feet, if not a little bigger, and stuff moves around. You're heeled over. Even during this winter, we didn't move much, but you still have to pile the gallon of milk on top of Caesar juice and 2 liters of pop, and that's along with your vegetables, eggs, and whatever else. So you want to be able to separate them, but I don't want something too invasive. I don't want something I have to drill holes. So if any of you have ideas, that'd be awesome. So bye for now. This week's episode is done. I will give you a couple more on what we did this winter and the upgrades that we did this winter next week. And that will be the end of our winter season. After that, we'll be on our way sailing up the St. Lawrence to Lake Ontario, and we'll be visiting a few places that we've been and quite a few places that we haven't. So don't forget to click subscribe and like. That helps us a lot. Thank you very much, everybody.